Mm. To what she said, sports. It is 12:30 somewhere, definitely in the Eastern time zone. All right, so it's media day. Many teams around the league have media day taking place. And if you see the thumbnail, you can see Shedeur Sanders is geared up for media day. Now, what's funny is you see a lot of comedy being added to media day to make it fun, more than about standing there in your jersey, in your uniform pants or whatever. So Shador had his hair braided. Many people love it. They got him with some B-roll, getting ready to have a slight snack, and it was just cute and funny. But then also too, you see a pose going around where they have duos. So Quentin and his brother Quinion, who both played for the Jets, I do believe, they recreated the Step Brothers pose, where you have the one guy sitting down and the Step Brother standing up with the hand over the shoulder. They recreated it with Jada Daniels and somebody, one of his wide receivers, and people didn't get it at first, but eventually, when other people started doing it, made it funny. So, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. All right, so we're just in here. It's media day. We want to give everybody a chance to join us. One second. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let's see. I think you can see me, but let me know for sure if you can hear me. We're 1 minute in. Good afternoon. And yes, you can hear me. Yay, Amber. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. It's Media Day. So Cleveland already put out a behind the scenes with Shador at Media Day. And Shador is himself, just funny. And you're not gonna catch Shador slipping. You're not gonna catch Shador slipping. That's what they got out of it. The interesting thing was he was getting ready to eat a banana, and the guy was shooting B-roll, and I guess Shador didn't realize it. So of course he covered up the banana and ate it, and they were making a joke about it. And they were saying, okay, you can't be, people like you're not gonna catch Shador slipping. So I don't know why they have one stuck at 12:30. I think that's so weird. Let me see if I can clear that so people don't get confused. 1 second. I hope everybody's having a good lunch. See it. So, doing? How you doing? Did you see Shador modeling his training camp clothes? Yeah, we put it on the thumbnail. Uh, they were asking him, is this, what he wearing today? His hair. He said, that's how you. He said, that's you gonna wear your hair like that today or something like that. Then he said, yeah, I'm going back with the throwback look, whatever. I like Shador's braids. Matter of fact, I prefer for Shador to wear his hair in braids. I think it shows who he is truly as a person, since they always want to insist that he's his father. Have you ever seen Coach Prime with braids? No. He went from his signature curly hair to what? To the fade. So Shador, to me, this shows that this is who he is. He's connected to his current generation. He's himself. Coach Prime is him. This is Shador. And when the guy asked him, are you gonna wear your hair like that? I like Shador's like, yep, just wearing, he wasn't taken aback by it. It's like he ready for whatever situation. So from the being asked, you gonna wear your hair like that, and the like as if it's not the right look for the media day to they already rolling with B-roll and Shador eat the banana, and covering it up. That's the kind of he always ready for whatever, and he can make light of whatever situation, and that's why people love Shador. I mean, honestly, because he's funny. He just laughed it off. And when the guy was like, "You gonna wear your hair like that or whatever," and he was like, "Yeah," he said he didn't say yeah. He said, "Yep, going with the throwback, the look or whatever," and that was the end of that conversation. So he looks good, and I like Shador with his braids. I remember Coach Prime, and who else remembers Coach Prime? Basically, asking him, remember that they were out by the fireplace, and he said, "You don't look like Bob." He said, "Where's no?" He said, "Where's Mr. Bob?" He was talking about his hair, and he wanted Shador. And see, this is another thing that tells you that they were prepared and ready, and they talked about the look you should have to be accepted in this, that, and the other, to make them comfortable, this, that, and the other. And Shedeur didn't even flinch when his dad was like, you know, uh, where's Bob? I don't see Mr. Bob. In other words, he wanted him to have, you know, how he typically wear his hair. See, I was a fan of the twist. I think he should have kept the twist because he looked good and he was him. He was just like when he was at Jackson State, he would say Brady Mo. But when he got to Colorado after Mr. 500, it became legendary Mo. Why? Because he stepped in his own shoes. He wasn't in his father's shadow. He wasn't in Tom Brady's shadow as a mentor. You know what I mean? He was doing his own thing. Everything that he put together for himself, his look, his play, you know, he took what he learned from Tom Brady and he put his own spin on it. He took what he learned from his dad and used it in a way that benefits him for his generation. That's to be respected. You are supposed to, that's why people name their kids so and so junior, because they want you to have the family lineage and everything that comes with that. So, that's why I like Shedeur. He's his own person. He is his own person. And as much as they try to say, they were worried about the shadow of Coach Prime, that was all malarkey. That was all BS-ery. So media day is going well. They having fun with it around the league. I'm like, it might be a good time to get to know the players. Outside of Jerry Judy, I know that's Harold Fanning Jr. Uh, Seems like Cleveland fans, including somebody in our comments, were unhappy, kind of sad and mourning because why? They said the Nick Chubb era has ended and Cleveland let him go to the Texans. What the hell the Texans got going on? But that sounds like a good move for Nick Chubb because why? Cleveland drafted two wide receivers. Cleveland drafted, two running backs. Two running backs. No, they did not get a wide receiver. They were supposed to in the draft, in my opinion. But you see, they didn't prioritize the air raid game. They prioritized what? The running game. So I'm just be honest. Shedeur not really a good fit in Cleveland. He is good as a quarterback. He's a passer. He has mobility, but you can tell they want to run the ball. They didn't even care enough about the O line in the draft. Why? I'm just gonna use Dylan Gabriel. Well, not really. I'm gonna use Kenny Pickett and Flacco, who's 40, to hand it off. That's what they were gonna do. That's why they got Quinshawn Junkins and somebody else. And then there's somebody else they just got. And I think they were supposed to get a wide receiver, but he didn't show. Maybe he finally showed. But they didn't prioritize the two things you need for a quarterback that passes the ball. You need an O line. You need an O line, and you need some receivers to catch it. That's not what they prioritize. So at some point, you still have to go back and ask, all right, because what did I do last night? I told you I was going to make a video and post what I had that documented that the Browns were going to take Shedeur. So if they were going to take Shedeur, they knew he was a pure pocket passer. They knew they needed what? An O-line. They knew they needed receivers. They didn't prioritize either in the draft. When did they make that decision? Was Shedeur ever really going to be a reality, or were they just setting him up, building him up? We're going to take you. We're interested in you. All of these meetings showing all of this interest. And yes, they believed it. Who would not? And just drop him like a hot potato, because that's what they did. And then they went after running backs and no O linemen and no receivers. So Shedeur takes everything in stride. He's his own man. His media day proves that the way he wore his hair in Colorado is how he's wearing his hair now. He stepped out of his father's shadow probably at Jackson State. For sure, the first game at TCU, where in Colorado. So, people choosing not to see Shedeur as his own man is a choice because then it gives them opportunity to hang on to what? A lot. So he's having fun with it. They're having fun around the league. And it's time to get to know the Cleveland Browns. So we'll probably be talking about that next. We've already looked at the depth chart. We wanted to see who was on it in terms of the quarterbacks. And now we need to look at who are the receivers, who are truly the O-linemen they have on the depth chart, who they expect to show, we just need to know who's who now. We need to know who's who because it looks like he's going to be there for the season. That's what it looks like. Now, there's all kind of talks coming from the left and the right side. They got the first and second picks next year. Talking about they're going to get a quarterback. And now Kirk Cousins has entered the conversation possibly. So that means that they not selling on who they have for quarterback. So I don't expect Shedeur to be there next year. I don't. I mean, what you're saying is we don't see him as a franchise QB. That's what you're saying. So I don't have expectations beyond this year. Uh, Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get to the 53-man roster, but I think we're going to. And all of this talk about the draft and Kirk Cousins just shows that they, even though he's good and people know that that should be their franchise quarterback, that's not what they want. And they've shown you when they don't want something, how they treat people. You just got to go to Vince Young. You don't even have to go back that far. You could go to Shedeur in the draft. So Shadeur's taking everything in stride. And I told you, when I see him and he's good and I see he's himself, I'm happy. So now let's talk about Coach Prime. So the story in the media is that on ESPN, Molly and Stephen A talked about they broke the news that Coach Prime has been ill with this mysterious illness. That's what they refer to it as. They don't know what it is. Bucky say he'll tell people about it at some point. Um, but whatever he is battling is serious. Now, Stephen A did bring up the fact that he took it pretty hard on how his son was treated in the draft. Now we know he was hurt by his own relationships, but when you're a parent, to see your kid be kicked down the street by grown adults and you standing at the house just looking at it happen and you can't do nothing and they just beating him up, abusing him in the street, that hurts so many different ways because it makes you feel like you failed as a father because I didn't protect you. I don't know what else he was going to do because he was reeled in by his kids. But what he should do is sue them for $10 billion and start his own league because he got a case. They use that man as a scapegoat. And if it has taken toll on him, I just showed y'all a picture of Coach Prime and Shedeur laughing, standing there talking, looking. He looked great. He looked great at Shedeur's draft party. Go look at it. There's ample footage. He looked great. Beard strong. Now he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. That signals a couple of things. And feet are not a part of that. But some other vital organs are. It also signals stress. Stress can take a toll on you. And we already knew he said, you know what, I think I'm just going on vacation before the full jump in this draft take place. So he was already caught wind of what was going to happen. So I do believe that's why we didn't see him after the draft. I think he was dealing with the fact that not only was he betrayed by people he called friend and family that he worked with on and off the field, at the desk. Bad enough he was hated on when he got to Colorado, but he felt like he still had his NFL allyship. What they showed the world that watched 7.3 million people, no, you don't. You take it how you want to. No, you don't. Mind you, he was just on their stage at the Ring of Honor, right next to Bill Belichick's Super Bowl weekend, laughing and talking with Jerry Jones, right there with his sons, both Bucky and Shedeur. Do y'all understand the implications of that? He's celebrated by the NFL, but then turned around and stabbed in the back in April, February to April. And he watched his son from February before the combine. I'm sure when he first heard the NFL doesn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now, they probably brushed it off as that's just some talking head. Even Shedeur was like, they trying to negate my draft stock, but don't listen to the media, please. Because he still had faith that either the Browns or the Raiders, and they know who, were going to draft him. He really did. He thought also they were just talking down on me. My dad said, this is what I got to go through. See, Coach Prime didn't think that the fix was in. He expected bull jump. See, there's a difference. See, there's a difference when you get treated like Coach Prime did. They essentially lured him somewhere by making him a part of the ring of honor. Made him feel like, yeah, you still our brother and family. And they all got him out in the woods. And instead of walking with him, they stopped. And he walking ahead alone, not knowing what's getting ready to happen. And when he turned around, they're his enemy. And they got him all out here isolated. And I mean emotionally. People would rather know who they're dealing with so they can move accordingly. They set him up. I told y'all last night on the video I dropped. I said they planned this in 2024. It makes sense because even though they don't talk about it in the media, shared in the video, they knew in 2024 that 15 black quarterbacks started on 32 teams, and the record changed 4 times from 2020. So what does that tell you? That tell you from 2020 to 2024, black QBs were making gains and fast, said Pat Mahomes. And Lamar Jackson was where the catalyst came in. Even Russell Wilson talked about his time when he came in. It was just him, and then he was like, "Whoa!" So see, they started to make gains further back, but it became evident in 2020 when they set the record for the first time. The most black starting quarterbacks, 11. Then the most black starting quarterbacks, 12. Then the most black starting quarterbacks, 13. Then the most starting quarterbacks, 14. In 2024, it's 15. So can you guess what 2025 was expected to be based on talent? There was three. 14 plus 3 is what? I'm sorry, 15 plus 3 is what? 18. Cam, 16. Shedeur, 17. Miro, 18. Cam was the halfway, 32 divided by 2 in half. What? That means half of NFL teams have black quarterbacks. So when you turn on your TV, at least in the division that the Giants are in, look at who's playing every Sunday when it comes to just divisional games alone. We did Cleveland. We reviewed Cleveland with Shedeur as QB1. And who was it right out the gate? The Panthers, then the Eagles, then Lamar. With Goff and that'll break it up, or Matt Stafford and that'll break it up. Then it goes on and on. So if they have that at the top, and it looked like the division that Cleveland is in with Lamar Jackson, let's say you Deshaun in Cleveland, Shedeur in Pittsburgh, that's 3. Burrows is the lone person. That's what they disrupted by pushing Russ Pittsburgh, trying to bring Shedeur in and send him to QB2 because Russ was already QB1. Deshaun Watson was there. They don't want him to play. So they could have got it the way it was. Deshaun, Russ, and Lamar. But see, that was before they pushed Russ up to New York because what did they expect? What they know about New York? Never. People are now saying they probably getting ready to trade Russ. Now that again will be another asinine move, but just like I called it before the draft, I said they're gonna make an asinine move with the draft. They did. So it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me if the Browns move Shedeur. But I promise you, the Browns are playing keep away with QB1 from Shedeur. They're gonna keep him buried on the depth chart. They trying real hard, but it's tough because everybody see it. But they use that exact language when it came to Miro. He's buried on the depth chart. They think he's buried on the depth chart behind Andrew Luck and Sam Darnold. I saw him on the depth chart at 2. But if Sam Darnold gets hurt and the most you think of Luck is a 3, then here comes the rook, the comp to Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson. You ain't holding him back. I'll tell you that right now. Because if you pay attention, the people who trash Miro were not the people who watched him play or pro day. The people who watched him on the pro day was all over it, excited, just like they were about Shedeur. Same with Cam. See, that's who they should be talking about because the quarterbacks are kings, right? So why isn't every day when we turn on the TV, we don't hear about the rookie kings coming in? I'm not gonna talk about yours either, because then I gotta talk about Shador. I wanted to talk about Dart, but his performance is not good. So now I don't want to talk about no quarterback. Instead of putting out quarterback highlights and what's to come with the kings of the NFL, I'm talking about wide receivers. So media day is going good. A lot of people are in a wait and see approach. I don't know if there are, I don't think the majority of the people are excited about Cleveland. I think many people are in like speculative. They're in a wait and see mode because we don't trust you because we already saw what you're doing. We see the narrative you're pushing. Kirk Cousins coming up, you're trying to get somebody else next year, which means you still don't value Shador. And we have not answered the question as to why he's been devalued. Answered it, but I haven't heard the media talk about it. Instead, they want to talk about media day. Now, the other teams have a lot of hype and laughing and fun surrounding them. Shador, they put him out there already. That was funny. But they don't give him the same notice and awareness that they marketability that they use off the field, on the field. They don't want to match it. And that proves what I have been saying. This is about keep away from QB1. So we know what Cleveland got going on. So it's hard to get excited, but at some point we got to learn about who the hell is on the team. I'm not 100% Shador gonna still be there, but I'm gonna believe it until I see it. I'm not gonna believe it. I'm gonna just go with it until I see something else. Coach Prime is concerning because why? He just signed a 5-year contract with CU, and he's in the middle of it's camp time, and he's not at camp. And he was the face of every camp that they had, and he's not there. That's huge. And for ESPN to release it, then other people gonna talk about it, and people like me are gonna say he needs to sue him for $10 billion because he looked good the night of the draft. He wasn't sick the night of the draft. We know it took a toll on him. And if they can clearly stab him in the back, I mean, what else he got to lose? Because they already, tried to hurt his program. That was just a bonus. But they wanted to tear down his son, who's innocent and have never done nothing to them. And what did he say? Don't punish them. Take me instead. So you think that what he is suffering, 15 to 20 pounds weight loss, has nothing to do with stress? By process of elimination, it does. And it could trigger something else that is impossible to come back from. And he also, when he say you're dealing with something that's impossible to come back from, he could be talking about the relationship he used to have, because that is hard to come back from. When 32 people that you call friend, at least many of them, lure you somewhere, isolate you, let you walk ahead, you don't know what's coming. You turn around and they all got pitchforks. And for him to miss anything and see you where his face was associated with it, it's troubling. And I blame the NFL. You damn right I do. And I don't care if they come out and say it's this, that, and the other. Okay, well, that was the catalyst. That was the catalyst. Shiloh was always an undrafted free agent, so he didn't drop nowhere. We knew he deserved better. But we see Shiloh look better now than he did before. We never saw anything with Shedeur. We knew he was a first round draft projection, and not by just external parties, also by the NFL. So they have not only hurt their friend, they abused his son while he had no choice but to watch. As a parent, you got to know how that makes you feel. Being helpless as a parent, it'll kill you. Parents are good parents. protect from birth. And he get all the way to 22, and I'm getting ready to hand him over to my family that I trust that he grew up with. Because I have a video of him throwing the ball around with looks like Peyton Manning and Coach Prime. He's been around them, but they treat him like he's a stranger, which means they emotionally detach themselves, which is how they could harm him. And they did. He taking it in stride, but his dad is not. Because he's the parent. And he was there before him. He thought he was going to be safe because why? They had him at the celebrity flag football game. He was one of the celebrities. They had him in those rooms with the commissioner and the owners, and you know those rooms are exclusive. Laughing and talking with the commissioner. You don't need an agent at that level. They know you by first name. We've seen Jerry Jones grin like a Cheshire cat. And y'all know Jerry Jones and Shedeur and Coach Prime are friends. They in each other's phones, I'm pretty sure. Well, somebody might be blocked by now. But not only can he figure out how to forgive, because we know the walk. How do you move forward? I said that. Said that. I said, I don't know how you move forward after this. To me, you don't. But maybe you do. Maybe that's exactly what God wants you to do. Because when you look at the timing of everything, Coach Prime signed his contract first. So nobody would think he was coming for their jobs, but they didn't really think that. Because you see how they get down. They didn't think that at all. Just like they knew they weren't drafting Shedeur, they knew he wasn't going to take their jobs. So you got to move forward personally. Then your sons are there, so you still worried. And then what? You got to be at CU for the next 5 years with teams recruiting your players. That's a lot because we don't know how that's going to go. Then you got to try to have your players keep the faith. And so far, they 10 toes down and doing really good. But will it always be the case? I don't know. So you got to figure out how to move forward. That's a lot of figuring. That's a lot of asking for God to show you a lot, and you got to understand and get it. And you might not like the answer, but I got one. Sue their ass for $10 billion and start your own league. That's what I think need to happen. If you ask me, that's the answer. Why 10 billion? Because obviously they already been sued and settled for a billion with a B in 2021 for what? Race norming, which comes out of what institution? Slavery. Saying that black NFL players have a lower cognitive functioning than whites. That's crazy. And just because they don't talk about it, that ought to tell you the fact that they don't talk about it. They don't want to be called what? So because you just did this in 2021 and you say you was gonna stop it, but it don't look like you stopped. You might have stopped it with concussion papers, but then again, you still fighting about that in 2024. Update. And you knew what was getting ready to happen in 2025. And when the Heisman list came out, and that's why I shared it in the video, go watch it, you could see who was on it. Shedeur and Cam. See, Cam brought him to the halfway mark at 16. Shedeur put him black QBs as starters as the majority. Shedeur. They didn't need Miro, but I'm gonna push him out the way too. And I want y'all to think about this. Didn't Tennessee want to sell that pick? Sure did. Now you see why. Because what's their issue out there? Oh, he coming in too early. He's staying too late. Oh, he doing his thing. He balling out and he getting ready to put a beat on him. And they want him to go home. Stop staying late. Don't come in early. Get out of here. And now he got to compete with the guy that failed last year. And he's the best. Now you see why they wanted to trade that pick. They knew they needed a quarterback and didn't want one. See, the Titans quiet with it. The Giants were loud. It's the same thing. The Saints too. The Giants need to be forced to sell because if Donald Sterling had to sell his team because of what was heard on audio, we don't need that discovery, but I need it. It's enough right now. Like Jimmy Horn Jr. said, ready right now. You can go right now. So that's why it's $10 billion because you just did this. So you ain't learned your lesson yet. So instead of one, let's go to 10. Maybe you're going to get it. And maybe you need to go public this time instead of always covering up the dirt. Because there's a lot out there. And I told y'all, Coach Prime have a wheelbarrow of dirt on these people. So when he set out there his gazebo and said, I see you, that's personal. So he calling out somebody. Somebody. I don't care whether he admitted or not. I've been following Coach Prime long enough and looking at his messages and can relate it to a situation that I know that this is one too. We haven't seen him much at all other than that gazebo. And the last time we saw him at that gazebo, he said it's time for a different approach. And the next thing you know, he ended up where? On Asante Samuel's podcast for the first time talking about what happened. And he looked like he was 15 to 20 pounds lighter. People not going to be okay when they make the connection that whatever it is he's now dealing with that he was not before the draft. Go look at it. It's because of the stress of watching his son be beaten and abused emotionally by people he called friend and family. Imagine you go to Thanksgiving with your friends and family, people you trust. You step outside or you go out of town because you're gonna leave your kids with them. Maybe you on Hawaii for I don't know, maybe you got married or something. Next thing you know, you watching them on Twitch. And what they doing? You see nothing but an all-out melee with them abusing him, and then suddenly you feel like, what the hell? You way over here. I can't get there. It's gonna take you a minute to get there, and then you grappling with, oh my God, what is happening? Why are you doing this? It tears you up inside as a parent. And when fans put that together, that it's not his foot, because the only time you see him at the gazebo, there's something come with it. So yeah, it could be something else, but that right there is a catalyst. Watching his son be abused by people he called friends and family is not easy. He should have did this. He should have had an agent. An agent don't help with defamation. He in the rooms that they have never been in. See, the people saying he need an agent, they weren't either. They weren't even in those rooms. Shedeur was in rooms that they haven't been in. So no, he don't need an agent. And you don't know he was in those rooms because you wasn't in there. He was. And that's why some of them mad. Understand that. He walks freely, he's him. You ain't your hair like that today? Yup. But if Aaron Rodgers go get his hair braided, they gonna think it's cute. But they question if Shedeur want to go out there like that. Yup. Some people might say that's a culture clash. I say mind your goddamn business. Cause you taking the pictures. He the one ball. See, there's some damn respect. Because if it was Aaron Rodgers, they would just, man, that's cool, that's different, or whatever. Or they might have shoot you behind the scenes, but they're not gonna ask him, are you sure you want to come out here like that? You goddamn right he is. You see him, don't you? But that's what they do. Don't talk to him like you found him, goddamn it, outside and ask him to put on this uniform. He is your franchise QB. Your franchise just don't have no scruples. But we say we want Shedeur to be okay. We see he's okay. He good. Coach Prime, that's a different story. It needs to be some damages. Let me look in the comments and see what y'all are saying. So yeah, we need to keep Coach Prime in our prayer because the fight not easy. Whether it's physical and likely it was emotional and it took a toll on him. Yeah, just like the person who sued. What did he sue for? Emotional distress. And then look at Coach Prime. You think you got to be a parent with somebody you've been following since he was knee high to a damn duck? Shedeur has motion, meaning people follow him and look at him as a leader. They've been following him, not just football at Colorado, not just football at Jackson State, also football in high school. See, these people are behind the times. And they want to act like they don't know who Shedeur is, but they know exactly who he is. Because they've taken measures and steps to do what? Hide him from us, which means you know he's a celebrity. And two, put him at the back of the line, which means you know he's your franchise QB. You're not going to tell us we don't see what we see. And I don't know why you think you could. That must be the world you live in. But when we see with our own eyes, that's we good. This ain't a court of law that can manipulate the outcome. This ain't that. This person to person. We see what's happening. And now we see Coach Prime struggling with something. And people not gonna like that. They see Lawrence, so they thinking it's about the feet. That's probably to prevent things from getting worse. But I know the catalyst is exactly what the hell it is. I know it is. Because when he sat out there on that gazebo and he said, I see you. Now they putting it out that he's been ill. You see? And it is hard for him to probably move forward, get over it, think about his responsibilities as a coach. I got Juju, I got Caden, I got Jordan Seaton. He got to get himself together for all these guys so they can pick them too. Do I really want to turn my kids over to that slaughter? Hell no. So what I'm gonna do? You're gonna figure it out. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot watching your kids be abused by your family. It sure is. And we know they see him as family and friend because he was just on the Ring of Honor. And if they use that to lure him in, that's what's going to work against him. The very thing we all see. Hey, Tina, how you doing? All right, y'all got the chat going today. There are 92 of us. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hey, Tina. Hey, Amber. Hey, Navalia, how you doing? No, Navalia, I got it right. Navalia. Okay. It said the curly hair is cute when he's wearing suits or a dress up. I like him either way. I like his twist, to be honest. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Gracie. We bless. Oh, hey, Gracie. How you doing? Thank you for holding it down. Thank you, Tina, for holding it down. That's sad. It really broke his heart. Yeah, it broke his heart. That man is damn near built the what he had. How do you think he was on the desk after his career? Because of the brand he built up before they used the term branded, before they used content strategy, brand marketing, branding. Before all of that, it was prime time. There are people in Atlanta that still wear the 21 and they not playing about it. They do not play about Coach Prime. If they think there was a media storm about Shedeur, you just wait till people realize it ain't got nothing to do with his damn feet. And that the stress that they causing, they trying to make sure it don't take a toll on that too. You just wait till people make the goddamn connection. Because when he went on Asante Samuel's podcast, he talked about how hurt he is. And now you got Stephen A up there talking about the breaking news and Miley and them saying they got a soft spot for him. And Stephen A actually did lean in and say, he did say he was hurt. When the rest of the people that care catch up, people say Shador is only popular because of his daddy. You just wait then. You wait right there. Because prime time go all the way back. And there are people that said it. I might not like Deion Sanders, which told me which era they was from. Because we don't call him that. I know I don't. I don't even hashtag Deion Sanders. I have to think about it. It's Coach Prime. There are people that know him as Prime or Prime Time. People going back to say, I might not like Deion Sanders, but his son is the best quarterback they have in that draft. So y'all crazy if you think he gonna be there after the first round or after the sixth pick. They start getting their ducks in a row when they got Geno Smith. And Geno Smith could have stayed right where he was. They were playing musical chairs. I showed you the chart. So yeah, he's a father who loves his kids, and they try to separate his kids from him by blaming him, and that has all been disproven. Just like all of the entitled, and he has an entourage. Anybody out here with social media have camera people, but why they think it's an entourage? The same reason why today the guy asked him, was he gonna wear his hair like that? I love it. Black people in Cleveland, or they don't think much of braids, or they don't respect him as a person. Because I wouldn't ask him that. I would believe. You see, I'm different. If you tell me go film, shoot somebody B-roll, and we get ready to do media day for these millionaire football players, I don't give a damn what they come there with. I'm not finna, is that what you wearing? Hell no. What you want me to do? That's it. You know why? Because I respect people. Respect your choices. I'm not about to second guess you. But if you got food on your face, you be like, hey, you got a little food on your face. You can take it off if you want. I'm not gonna tell you a child. See, it's just about respect. And you know it is because at the combine, what? Jackson Dart had his hat on backwards too. Jackson Dart got a gold chain that say Dart. Show do. You see him dancing out there? Nothing. Dart want to be cool. They don't say that. So yeah, it broke him. But he's gonna be all right though. My heart goes out to Coach Prime. He has been deeply affected by all of this boo jump. Right. And what did he say before the draft? I gotta go take me a vacation before the bull jump in this NFL draft. Because he got the win. He got what was going on. He didn't get the full story, which means everybody did know. But 2,000 people did get an email. And that might be what he's talking about. That is probably what the hell he's talking about when he said, let me get this bull jump. Because if I'm not mistaken, I feel like he was gone earlier during that week. And the email supposedly went out on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So I have to go back and check. But it was something before that. And we might not know that, but it could be that too, depending on the date that he left. But I feel like it was days before the draft. I've said before, Coach Prime was too trusting of people. Some are right there working with him. People are evil. You know, I remember when, thank you, who's that? I remember that Tina, when everything went down. Everything went down when at CU year one. I knew instantly. The Oregon game, I made a video about it. And I felt like he was in a tough spot because he hired those people. See, Coach Prime is strategic. Most strategic people go on to be successful. He hired those people. Now, I noticed something about CU program. I ain't gonna say it. I just don't know why this happens. And I'm not gonna say it on this open forum. We get ready to have a private live stream on Friday. We're gonna talk about it. You want to become a member, cool. Uh, but that's what we having Friday because I can't say everything here. Um, and I never understood it, and I felt like maybe he had control, but not as much as control as we thought initially. Um, because I think he would have made some different choices if he had complete control. Um, and he supposedly chose those people, or either CU chose those people, but he got burned either way, just like Herm Edwards. But see, Coach Prime is not new to what we became aware of quickly, that they didn't want him to be a head coach in the Power Five, and they don't. And I know there were people that asked, "What the hell did Coach Prime do to treat their sons like that?" I'm like, this is a business, nothing, because they could go deal with him. Nothing. Everything they have said, every damn thing, every negative thing has been disproven. And who did he hire on his staff this year? NFL coaches and players, former NFL coaches, former NFL players, and I think the team gonna be good. Swayze got them looking good. Body by Swayze, he need to go ahead on and trademark that. That hurt. That's what I meant by, do y'all not understand the impact of being prime on the ring of honor after being at the desk for 17 years? After Colorado's first game, 31 NFL scouts and executives showed up at Colorado's home opener. Why? They value every last one of them, except for Travis. And now they hating on him in Jacksonville. So that couldn't get everybody in the draft, just like Tennessee wanted to trade their pick. Imagine this scenario. Tennessee trade off that pick when they need a quarterback. They team standing on their head because they like, if Will Levis still here, we're gonna burn it all down. They know what they're gonna do to Shedeur before we get here. We know we don't even talk about Miracle because we took care of him in college. So what do we do about Cam? We can't snub him. Well, we don't want to use this pick. Nope, I need you to use that damn pick and just get Cam. All right. That's why they didn't talk about it. And it was leaked that he was going to Tennessee. They say he leaked it. I'm not so certain. I'm not so certain. They might have told him you can go ahead on and say it. And maybe it wasn't a leak. But if they was hot and heavy on him, you would have heard way more about him. And they wouldn't be out here right now having him to compete with Will Levis. So when primetime audience, Shedeur got an audience and Coach Prime got an audience. And people don't understand they're not necessarily the same. There is some overlap. I will give you that, but not as much as you think. Not as much as you think. How you suddenly get mad that Coach Prime put the NFL on the map. Definitely the Falcons. Kept people talking and excited about the NFL. Then he goes to the NFL desk. And there for 17 years. Hell, he was longer at the desk than he was in the league. And then what happens when he gets to Jackson State? They all show up. Coach Prime called them out and said, y'all didn't draft nobody from HBCUs, not one. And what happened the next year? Aubrey Miller got in. And somebody else. What happened this year? An HBCU player was drafted before Shedeur. He's down in Baltimore with LeJohn. Several HBCU players got camp invites, and I said I want to see what materializes after that. Because to me, that's kind of like goodwill. I don't think you're good, but I'm gonna help all y'all come and we're gonna see and we'll take from the best. But they weren't good enough to be in the draft. That's what they're saying. And there is an HBCU draft, and I did my homework, not this one, 2025, but the one before. I don't think they took anybody. And I don't know if they've ever taken a black quarterback or any quarterback from an HBCU draft, which means they don't value them at that position. The one they did get this year, for Shedeur, I think went to Alabama A&M, and I think they invited him to the overall draft. So see, when they value you, they do invite you to the overall draft. So why do they even have the HBCU draft? Who knows what that came about? I'm not mad, I like it. But do they take it seriously? If you're a wide receiver, if you're a cornerback or some physical, they gonna go with it. But the thinking man's position, because that's what they say about the quarterbacks, the kings, that's not what they want. Look at how they do the ones that come in the draft. And we already questioned, why did you even get Vince Young if you was just gonna convert him or dumb him down to a pocket passer? See, they trying to do it to black elite QBs who are outpacing white QBs because of their physical gifts, their physical strength, whatever you want to call it, physicality. And that's what has made the games closer and closer since 2020. So they knew exactly what was happening in 2020. And Coach Prime did not know that to this extent they was going to do what they did to his son. And he probably have figured out himself, just like I have. This goes all the way back to the Vegas Super Bowl when they went and asked somebody that they already denied, Charles Woodson, you still interested? And they just rushed it through. And I reported on it before they voted on it. So they leaked the story out because they're getting their ducks in a row. I hope Coach Prime getting his ducks in a row. And if I know Coach Prime, he is. So there we go. So yeah, he's very, we say he's trusting, and I question first year. I'm like, you good, because I saw somebody that needed to be fired on the spot. And I was like, you know what? This is a business decision. I hired these people. I gotta put it this way. These people, whether they wanted me to or whether I wanted to. But when you just hire people and you just give them a contract, If you fire them, see, that's why contracts are interesting. That's why I say some of these guys just get the league if you can play multi sports and get drafted in baseball or basketball or football. Because once you get in this contract, like Caleb Williams, they got you. And it don't matter no more because where you going? Because if you leave, I'm gonna sue you for breach of contract. So they got you. So it's kind of like a curse, a gift and a curse. You see it as a gift because of the money, but it's not guaranteed. And it's worse. And you lose if you're injured. But if you go play baseball or you go play basketball, you solid. So yeah, I questioned in the first year, but I was like, you know what? He just hired them. He just put them on contract. He probably got a. It wouldn't surprise me if he had to help them find the job. Cause see you, if they did not see you force them to fire him, then they would have took care of it. But to hire them, then they would have took care of it. But if that was his choice, then he got to figure this out on his own. Because I can't just fire them and still pay them $2 million, and you got to hire somebody else. So I get it. I get it. But he did realize, but not at first. But when you did hear him say, and who remembers Coach Prime saying at a press conference, even if they did give away the plays or something like that, we still got to execute them. So that let me know that he knew. When I see he knows something, I'm good. Because most people want to get the awareness of Coach Prime, but he already got it. And I already called out what Shedeur went through is what Coach Prime went through at CU. What Shedeur went through in the NFL draft is what Coach Prime went through at CU. Sabotage. And it ain't worked either time. Shadeur's contract might be delayed or denied, but he gonna end up with more money than that. Because you explained Deshaun Watson getting $240 million after 26 civil lawsuits filed against him with 24 settled. One thrown out and the other one still lingering out here. From 2020, Shedeur checked off all the boxes. So yeah, Coach Prime was in a unique situation in year one, but he did get another rebuild in year two. And he brought somebody in on the O line and they gone too because why? They just did not understand or did not choose to, or they was also part of a ruse to just not rotate the damn O line. And then the O lineman left, so that put CU in a position where you stuck with so and so. I'm like, this is the craziest thing in the world. Right now, I think the O line got about a head coach and about two different co-coaches or something. So they try to make sure they got they dust covered in the rope so there's no more foul play because that's exactly what it was. Definitely in year one, and you could see it in the Nebraska game. And that's when Jerry Jones went and signed that. We talked about that. So see, they watch. They show up. They made him think. They lured him in too. That could have been the reason behind Roger Goodell's comments to Shedeur at the Super Bowl. You know it was. Shedeur and his daddy, they tight. You think Shedeur would know something going on with his daddy? Hell, Buck, did you see any issues? Bucky standing right there. You could hear Bucky. You think Bucky was like, what the hell he talking about? Bucky see Coach Prime too. You see Bucky is said it, I'm gonna be here. I'm not leaving until my dad go back. I told y'all he was gonna be that son. Because people thought he was gonna move with Shedeur when they thought Shedeur was going to Vegas. I said Bucky gonna be right there because he's that son. And you can see it. You think those two standing right there with Goodell, with Bucky filming the whole thing, you think that they didn't know? They wouldn't know what's going on with their daddy. Wasn't nothing going on with him because I saw him before the goddamn draft. Stephen A knew what he was doing when he said, yeah, he talked about, how hurt he was. Yeah, he needs to sue their ass under the goddamn ground. Drew Luck, you mean? Andrew Luck. Oh, yeah, Drew Luck. Yes. If I said Andrew Luck, I'm sorry. Drew Luck. Yes. Drew Luck is the guy that's third on the depth chart in Seattle, but they saying they're going to put Miro behind him or something. So thank you for that. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. I agree, Tina. Yep, it's a mental anguish. Yes. That's why the guy that sued for emotional distress, because that's what it does. When you see somebody you care about, you don't have to know somebody personally to care about him, but you have established something. He's a fan. And what I thought was interesting is when Eric did that interview, Eric Jackson did that interview on what's the guy's show, TLP? Like Bandwagon Bucks, Harry. Harry didn't even know that that guy was in one of his previous videos as after a Colorado game. So he established what needed to be established, the connection as a fan. See, they thought it was a joke. It's not. It's not a joke, which explains why they get their ducks in a row. But at the same time, while I'm over here trying to show I'm not what, stick to the script with Shedeur. So see, that's the priority. And that's why the next one need to be $10 billion. And Coach Prime need to sue. Because honestly, if you still out here, you out here trying to go on I guess the defensive and say that you're not what that starts with an R, but at the same time, stick to the script with Shedeur. Because you know what? Now you over here doing this and you over here doing this, you are distracted from the main thing. And that's putting together teams to win the Super Bowl. And fans see it. And now everybody's like, what the hell is really going on here? Well, let me tell you. Why is it problematic for Shedeur Sanders to be the number 17th QB? That's a QB1, a starter on NFL teams. Because 32 divided into half is what? Drop it in the chat. What is 32 divided by 2? Just drop it in the chat. What is 32 divided by 2? Drop it in the chat. Please, just drop it in the chat. Somebody, anybody. There you go. 16. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16. Who's number 16? Drop his name in the chat. That means that with Cam, that means every Sunday with Cam at QB1, number 16 of black starting QBs, that you're going to see 16 black QBs and 16 white QBs. Who is number 17? Shedeur. 16 is half, 17 is the majority, plus 1. Do y'all see it yet? So now with Shedeur, who we know he's a QB1. I put in the chat, he was in the video, he was supposed to go to Cleveland at number 2. It's documented. He was going to be their franchise QB. He's entitled, it's disproven. They in Coach Prime Shadow was never a reality. 17 is the majority, which means when you turn on your TV on Sunday Night Football at any given time throughout the season, you will eventually see more black starting quarterbacks than white ones for the first time in history. They didn't talk about it in the draft because they didn't want to see it happen. And guess what? They got their way. Pushing Shedeur all the way down. What's the narrative? He's a fifth string QB. He can't even pick his jersey. He's not a fifth string QB. And that's what people are pushing back on. They don't want you to turn on the TV and watch two black QBs go head to head every damn week. And if last year, if Andrews had held on to that ball that people been side-eyeing and they didn't know why, because this was already planned as far back as the Vegas Super Bowl. Because why? When the season started in 2024, there were 15. You think I ain't gonna draft no more black QBs coming out of college in 2025? So when the Heisman list dropped, who's on it in the top 10? Shedeur and Cam. So you knew. All right. Shedeur gonna go to Tennessee. We're gonna send Cam to Tennessee with the first pick, and then we're gonna send Shedeur. Shedeur was paid to the Browns like that. The media kept pushing the Giants. They already knew. And Coach Prime was a scapegoat. Roger Goodell said, "What? I'm worried about your pops," and he did like this. He looked right off. I was like, "Whoa." His two sons don't know about any health ailments. I saw him the day of the draft. We all did. You know how many cameras was in that house? I'm sorry, that room or the tent? It was cameras everywhere. Everybody caught it. He looked good. And Shedeur was dressed like a modern version of him. He loves his daddy. And they tried to split them apart. That probably hurt Coach Prime more than anything. And he felt helpless. And he's sending him into the fire. That's basically what he's thinking. And then they blaming him. And he probably thinking, well, maybe I could have did this, maybe I could have did that. Hell to no. Because all of it's a lie. Shedeur is his own person, and I don't know any job that is out here. I don't like your daddy, so come on work for me, and I'm gonna beat up on you. Hell does that. I just don't hire you. But then people want to know, well, why you just did draft it? Why the hell they draft Vince Young? Why they draft Terrell Price? Joe Gilliam beat out everybody in camp for the QB spot. He had a winning record, and they took his role and gave it to Terry Bradshaw because that's what they wanted to do. So they took number 17 from Shedeur. They took the number 2 bag from Shedeur. They took the honor of being the second quarterback off the board from Shedeur to protect the same goddamn thing they did with Joe Gilliam. Because that's what they wanted to do. Because of preference. But see, Joe Gilliam came out in the 70s on the heels of the assassination of MLK, and Shedeur came out in 2025 on the heels of DEI rollback don't even benefit black people. But that's what they wanted to do because they don't want to see you win. Just like they didn't want Joe Gilliam to keep winning. Because what does it do? It disproves the goddamn myth that black QBs and black NFL players and black people everywhere are inferior in their cognitive thinking than whites. And if I just got sued for it and for $1 billion with a B in 2021, what you think? I don't still think that in 2024 and don't nobody know I got sued for it in 2021? They knew their record had been changing back and forth since 2021, and the media was proud to say, oh, the number wanes and goes, as if they didn't believe in 2020 or 2021 that they would get here in 2025. But when they saw it happening, then they knew somebody was coming out of school in 2025. That's why they had Carson back at the top, but it didn't work out, did it? Look at the Heisman list that I put in the video, the top 10. Look who's on it. At what position? They knew. Because if I could start the 2024 season with 15, then I'm going to start the 2025 season with 18. Because once that Heisman list dropped, I knew where Cam was, I knew where Shedeur was, and I knew where Milroe was. To be honest with you, I hate to say it, but Milroe being a cop to Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson, here he should have been first. But they didn't want him coming out of Alabama as the king. So they schooled him over in college. They got Shedeur at the draft. And they got Coach Prime too. I'm just ready for them to start their own black led or black owned team. Black led and black owned. They are the talent. The only position they don't want them to rule in is the quarterback. That's the one they fight the hardest. They micromanage tight end and offensive line. Tight ends just got an award. This happened to Shedeur because he's number 17. Milroe is number 18. He furthers it. Cam brought it up to the halfway point. Shedeur took them over to the majority, and Milrow was to further it. And I told y'all, ain't no coming back from that. Which meant that's why they already talking about the class of 2026 and got it propped up out of college already. But see, they thought that last year with Carson Beck. Now they know he coming out of school. So Cleveland looked like, okay, we want to get Carson Beck. So you don't appreciate Shedeur, which is why to me they need to get another league and get the hell on. They do not appreciate you. They do not want you. They drafted you to hoard your talent, bench you, put you in the back, make them some money, sack you excessively, switch you to wide receiver, take the winning record from you and give it to somebody else. That happened in Cleveland in 2024. Same thing happened to Joe Gilliam. All you got to do is look at what happened to the guys in the 70s and 80s and in the 90s, in the early 20s and the 2010s, and look at what's happening right now. It's the same thing because they already knew. I said, yes, it keeps, let's keep Prime prayed up. I know he feels betrayed by many, especially the ones he thought he could depend on. And trust me, those owners just didn't want the prime effect. It ain't about the prime effect. It's not about that at all. The owners don't want 17 black QBs. Because what? If you look at the way on the chart that I showed, see, people want to say this is not about Coach Prime. If they didn't want the prime effect, he would have never been on the stage at the Ring of Honor. And this is why, and this is what makes this so sad. It's obvious what it is. The history is out there. It's documented. This is slam dunk in court. The kind of slam dunk that jumps over a car, does a windmill and still dunks the ball. And people still want to say it's Coach Prime. It's the prime effect. He's a Sanders. No, because Milrow is not a Sanders. What's happening to Cam Ward competing with somebody that failed when he's a QB1 drafted in the first round, which means you start, which means they trying to change the rules because they can't hold these guys back. Because if I don't draft you, you're going to go start your own league. You goddamn right. If I draft you, you're going to go to another league. Yup. And it almost happened with Caleb. See, they knew they couldn't treat Shedeur the way they treated Caleb. Oh, we're going to draft you anyway. What the hell is that to tell somebody? They knew it. So they had to reel Shedeur in because they know him already. See, that's fraud. I'm using that's how you scheme and scam people. I'm using the connection that we have, the familiarity, the relationship that I know. They know Shedeur himself. 31 NFL scouts at Shedeur Sanders, Colorado's home opener. That's a confidence scheme. That's making you feel confident. Just like they did, Cleveland did him in the draft. That's why Andrew Berry looked like that. They sent Andrew Berry running around with chickens with his head cut off, put it in the media, make it let him think he getting an opportunity to do his job. Because Shedeur is supposed to be their franchise QB, and they just threw it all up in the air, and they scapegoated who? Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson been there from 2022. How you all of a sudden took a big swing and missed? Hell, what made you give him a $240 million guaranteed contract? What did you see? And if he still have a winning record, maybe you didn't take a big swing and miss. Maybe you just don't want him to ball out in Cleveland. So you like, you know what, he hurt, just leave him over there. Because honestly, an 8-4 record as a starter is not bad at all. So what you're seeing is the lengths and the desperation these people will go through. Now they got multiple problems on their hands. What they did in the draft to Shedeur, but also the prank, also giving out his phone number to 2,000 people who did not need to know. Also attaching a waiver wire to it, which means you planned that wherever he ended up, he was going to get cut. Which is why I don't believe that Shedeur could possibly make it through the season, although he might. But I ain't going to put my life on it because look who we dealing with. People that set him up to believe they were going to draft him and then what? Dropped him like a hot potato. And then Stefanski comes back and tells him on the phone, you heard it. I told you God works in mysterious ways. Oh, so maybe Stefanski might be the odd man out. Maybe he ain't really with the BS. I don't trust none of it. Because when you got somebody asking him about his hair, when you over here to be shooting the pictures, you shut the hell up. That's what you do. You find some respect in his decisions, and it ain't for you to challenge. You shut the hell up. That's what you do. You find some damn respect because you supposed to take the pictures. You not the star, and you not gonna belittle him about his goddamn hair. You should be fired because this ain't your job. You not his stylist. Because if so, you know he be with his hair, and a lot of people are too. Just because you don't like it, they don't have no damn respect. It's not comforting to say this has been going on. But I'm gonna tell you, this is the most extreme case. And it wouldn't have worked if Cam was number 17, and it wouldn't have worked if Milrow was number 18, which means it was only Shedeur. And Coach Prime was collateral damage. This ain't about the prime effect. Because they didn't want it. He wouldn't have been on the damn desk for 18 years. He wouldn't have been in the ring of honor. 31 NFL scouts and executives would have not been at Colorado's home opener. And Cleveland wouldn't have been publicly courting Shedeur Sanders during the whole pre-draft process. And nobody, including Mel Kiper Jr., would have went on his own podcast with Phil Yates saying what? Before the combine. An NFL insider said that they don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Emphasis on timing. Underline now in red and put a circle around it. 2025 was always the year as of last year. They been new. They just didn't know who they were going to do it to until that top 10 Heisman list came out. That's sad. Yeah, it broke him. Of course it did. Mental anguish, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. There's 100 of us. Please hit the like button for me. The high altitude may not be good for Coach Prime. Not sure what the issue is. Coach Prime is not in Boulder. He's in Dallas. He's in Dallas. And yeah, when he go to the high, it's stress. I know what it is. When you see Coach Prime out there at the gazebo, he out there thinking. Look at what happens after. He thinking. First, it was a Asante Samuel. Now it's Stephen A. and Molly breaking the news. You see? It took a toll on him. And I know people have reached out to Coach Prime. I know lawyers have reached out to Coach Prime. Shit, I know people who talked to Ben Crump. Well, law firm that is. Person. The law firm. Shit, I feel like CU ought to sue because they tried to meddle with the program. When people decide that this is not worth my money and my time and my mental sanctity, and this is a farce and it's a fraud, and it's not about talent, it's not about the Super Bowl, and you let another league come along. Tell you all they got to do, just go out there one Sunday. Just go out there one Sunday, all y'all just get a squad of 22 together and play 11 on 11 in the off season and watch what happens. Anybody remember when the Big Three came along, how much the NBA tried to fight it? Even the WNBA took shots at Unrivaled. Sometimes the NFL posts about the UFL because it's gaining traction. They draft to bench, draft to switch off, draft to destroy, draft to prevent another league from getting the talent. Seemed like it almost happened with Caleb Williams. But I know his dad is upset watching his son get sacked 68 times after they tried to fight the league itself. And now it's Coach Prime's turn. Any coincidence, there's two black fathers who are very present and active in their sons' lives. To see Shedeur dressed like Coach Prime, a modern version of it, because I saw a video the girl made the fit for him. He loves his dad, and he knew how much they loved and respected him too. But they made a decision. See, people can truly like you at one point, but depending on what's at stake, they can make a decision to end your life sometime for insurance money. Happens all the time. Families. Offing each other because something that they deem as X bigger to have. I watched this horrible story which put tore my heart in half. And it just left me traumatized. And I just watched it on TV that this family in Columbus, Georgia, where Aflac is, befriended this young man because the teenage son, nephew, grandson was kind of like a gamer. He didn't go out much. And this guy, they kind of looked like they could be cousins. He was from a more impoverished part of town. They were wealthy. This shit kills me. They went on family vacations together. I mean, to me, they did the right thing because why? They saw somebody who was in need and they everything they did for him, they took him in like family. And then one day, him and just two other guys walked to in New Orleans, he would be his cousin's house because they've been around each other for years. And they lured him outside. Y'all know this story? They lured him outside. And remember, he was quiet. The other guy was, more the outgoing guy. He going outside because he see his cousin. And as soon as he get outside, the other guys come from around the corner and they jumping. He start begging and pleading. I'll give you my new J's. I got money. Don't hurt me. Not only did they end his life, everybody in the house, including a 5-year-old girl, wants some J's. That's what people think. Jealousy. So people that you sleep next to, sleeping with the enemy, people that you work with. See, I tell people work is not summer camp. Go there, do your job, keep your business to yourself, and get the hell off. That's my motto. I'm not ashamed of it. So no, like that boy was lured, that young man was lured. So was Coach Prime and Shedeur. And they tried to hurt them both. And they tried to turn them against each other and make us think we didn't see what we saw, and it's Coach Prime's fault. So people who have always been jealous of Coach Prime took part in this. People who knew Coach Prime and knew he was a good person took part in it because why? Preservation. So in this case, I'm not gonna say he was too trusting because he was lured by people that call him friend and family. And the ugliest part of this all is the Jackson Dart part. I figured it out yet. That old Miss connection. That's why I wasn't Queen Euris. A smear campaign was the end of it. At the end of what reality check? You talking about their relationship? You have no friends. Some are only good for the last good deed you have done for them. That's facts. And we live in a different world. I can tell y'all right now. As a black woman, there was a time that you could walk outside, and I don't care if you saw any black person, but another black woman in particular, just a smile. Don't see it. Don't see it. Don't see it. Don't see it. And it used to be a thing, but don't see it. And I think what it is I'm noticing it with the younger generation because of the music they listen to, especially the women, not the R&B part, but the fight this, the like at Glorilla was having concerts and they was fighting concerts. Why? Because your music is rah rah. That's what your music is promoting for you to slap her. And now when they walking on the street, they walking with the attitude. So eventually, just like I feel like you see black men tend to be divided sometimes. Look at what's happening and who arguing on the internet. Guess who's next? When you turn old against young or young against old, that means that shuts off that pipeline to wisdom, to knowledge, to uh, the wisdom that you need to prevent you from struggling. So when you close off that pipeline to the people before you that can give you the blueprint, you're gonna and you're not gonna have a relationship with nobody to pick you up because you pushed everybody away with your rah rah music. So now it's a fan for yourself. Good day, everybody. Blue Moon. It said has no friends. John Henry Clark, rest in peace. When one's oppressor has to be one's physician, could be problematic. Yup, I just said it. Thank you, Tina. It said the queen is on fire today. Thank you. Thank you, Trader Man. Thank you. Jay Smooth. Preach. Yeah. Hit the like button for me. There are 83 people. All right. So we are 1 hour in. We get ready to wrap up. For lunch, we stayed a little over. Hey, how you doing? We'll be back at 4 o'clock. Yep, Jay Smooth, he was hurt. Shedeur is wearing his warrior hair. Yep, he wearing his braids. Shedeur is live on the Browns YouTube doing a press conference. Okay, I'll catch you later. Thank you. Hopefully, when Shedeur is the starter, he will me, get black media members, reporters in his press conference, like Coach Prime did at CU. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if he got that kind of power or he ever will. Just seen some of his throws today. Man, he's looking super great. His accuracy is crazy. Yup. So Cam looks great. Russell Wilson throwing with precision. Shedeur Sanders, hella accurate. What's new? And Jalen Milrow. Now I need to come on up to speed with what's going on with him. I know he's doing good, but they using the same language. They trying to bury Shedeur, they trying to bury Jaden, and they trying to make the number one quarterback that they gave a guaranteed contract to, $35 million signing bonus. They want him to compete with the guy that failed last year. Y'all don't see it yet? You don't see it yet? This is about playing keep away at QB1 for Shedeur, for Milrow, Cam, and Russ. But see, New York is in a pickle. New York is in a pickle because y'all saw Dart, right? He went out there and did exactly what was expected of him because they said in the Senior Bowl he hit his ceiling and he threw 4 interceptions in his last game, but they ignored all of that. For what? So you ignored his skills and you was excited about his what? So you know what it's about then. So you know who they playing keep away with. All right. It's gonna be a very interesting season. I'm just go ahead on and say that. So yeah, always prayers up to Coach Prime. Um, the NFL is in trouble. And that's why on one of the videos 2 days ago, posted that plantation burning in Louisiana. And I used the information about that lawsuit from 2021 that they settled for $1 billion with a B for race norming, which comes out of slavery, which they had practices and policies that they acted on to say Black NFL players have a lower cognitive functioning than whites. And they said it was going to stop it. Y'all think they stopped it? They might have stopped it with concussion payments, but then again, maybe they didn't. We don't see that. See, that's the kind of stuff that takes place behind the scenes. But what I have seen with all of this discrimination against these Black QB1s, and they still made it. Cam is 16. They essentially kicking the door in. And this conversation is being had above ground. They've been new. They've been new. That's why they didn't even talk on the historic value of it, the merit of it with Shedeur and Cam. They could talk about it with Cam. They didn't want to talk about it. And they trying to hold him back too. So, right, we out of here. This is excellent, excellent, excellent. As usual, lots of comments. We made it to 100 people joining us today. It's gonna keep going up from here. Black dominance is real, absolutely. Juanita 16, yep, 16. Cam, yep. So y'all know Cam is 16. Going number 2 to the Cleveland Browns with the second pick in the 2025 draft, Shedeur Sanders. Because they wanted him to be their franchise QB and they courted him publicly like he was. Then they dropped him like a hot potato. The NFL is in trouble. Great show today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pedro. All right, Rodney. Thank you so much. You cooking. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you. I appreciate y'all too, Miss Sunny. That's why Prime refused to take the Giants test, and he was just a DB. Okay, I don't know about that. You talking about when Coach Prime was going through the NFL draft? Okay, so it was an excellent show. Thank y'all. This is good engagement. We'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll probably go watch the press conferences. I know the Titans had one. Clearly, I'm checking on the Giants because I'm checking on Russ. That's the one. Where they say you got the right one. And what they say in the black community, when somebody tell you you got the right one, you indeed did not get the right one. They didn't want to do it, and they got Russ. Stay tuned. See y'all later. 17 to 32. If you know what it means, drop it in the chat. Talk to y'all later. See y'all later.